Without a doubt, America is being ripped apart internally on itself. The divide is about policy, immigration and borders, the size and expense of government, educational goals, federal court and Supreme Court judges, and what values we should want. Many think the country should be permanently divided into two countries. Blue states and red states would work independently of each other, establishing their own political and economic agendas and pursuits. We'll talk about the possibility of states succeeding in this video and what that all could mean. A poll by the University of Virginia's Center for Politics recently showed that 52% of Trump voters would support the idea of succeeding if the Democrats keep power and keep pushing their agenda. They agreed with the statement, "The situation in America is such that I would favor my state succeeding from the Union to form a separate country." 25% agree strongly, but the same poll found 41% of Biden voters would do the same, with 18% strongly agreeing. And there's quite a bit of anger directed at both sides. 75% say members of the opposition party have become a clear and present danger to the American way of life. 60% of the Trump and Biden supporters see America as less of a representative democracy and more a system that is run by and rigged for the benefit of the wealthy. The results of the poll warns that voters are now at a crisis stage. Biden and Trump voters don't want their parties to compromise on key issues, that they would suffer personally if the other side has their way. The organization, identified as RedStateSecession.org, believes that secession is the only way to save conservatism, that it's impossible for red states to grow and coexist with liberal blue states, and they actively say that the red states should separate themselves completely from the coastal blue states. The state of Texas in early 2021 filed legislation to give Texans a chance to explore opting out of the nation through a referendum. Sponsored by State Representative Kyle Biederman, the bill, HB 1359, would not have allowed an immediate independence, but create a committee that would develop a plan for succession. He also said this was his response to a federal government that is out of control and does not represent the values of Texans. The legislation did not pass through the Texas House. Some had proposed that maybe a negotiated split of the USA is needed, that it wouldn't cause a civil war. According to a Zogby poll, only 32% of Americans believe that the U.S. government would be justified in using force to prevent states succeeding. Zogby says having a split up with the two separate countries would allow them to fund and operate their own budgets and priorities. According again to RedStateSecession.org, each could split the federal military, join NATO, and assume half the federal debt. They could, through free trade agreements, negotiate treaties not requiring each to be self-sufficient in goods. Both countries could set their own immigration policies. Red states, by succeeding, could produce policies that support their desire for more religious and traditional American values. Proponents of succession say a nation of red states and a nation of blue states could relate to each other as America and Canada do. Since Canada was separated from the U.S., the two countries have gotten along fine. We share rivers, lakes, trade, and electrical grids with Canada. We give them space to not interfere with their elections. The divide between red and blue states is so deep and vitriol, we have to consider that their differences may never be resolved. We don't want civil war or foreign troops to come in to establish order. States succeeding and forming two Americas is now viewed as not such a radical idea. Internationally, many countries have succeeded peacefully. Czechoslovakia split into two countries without much turmoil back in 1993. The process started in 1992 when the Slavic Parliament declared independence. This is H.A. Graves.